All right. This is my story, and today's topic is, what do you know about my grandparents' values, philosophies, and religious beliefs? And Lonnie and Henrietta Council were an example of Black excellence. Well, when I came around, by the time I arrived into the family, they were the example of Black excellence. I didn't even, I lived in Chester as a child. First, I never thought of it as a ghetto. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't think about the ghetto. I'm living in it, and I never went outside of it, so there's nothing to compare it to. Number one, but I felt that I was kind of wealthy. Maybe it's in the way that everyone carried themselves, or how we moved, or how my family was. But I feel that they always gave the impression that there was a standard. You know what I mean? My grandfather, he has his own business. You know what I mean? He goes to work every day. My grandmother, like I told you, she was a scholar. She was an educator. And then my aunt, she also was an educator. So, you know what I mean? And I remember going into their house. I told you they have a baby grand in their front room. I never really seen too many people use it, but I mean, this is just standard in Chester. Even though we're in Chester, this is, you know what I mean? And the values I always got was that okay, so he's working hard, and also education. They were always striving. That I told you, my grandmother and grandfather, well, mostly my grandfather, stressed me my whole childhood about I should try to be a lawyer or a doctor. And I just thought that was ridiculous. Like, what are you talking about? This sounds so boring. And he's like, no, no, no. He kept trying to, I mean, all like a long time going on. So, and he worked. You know what I mean? He had his own company, so he never worked for nobody unless he wanted to do business for that person. You know what I mean? And I never seen one for anything. The whole thing that I always got impression of my grandfather is that he's like a squirrel. He has to have like, first in my family. That's another thing that I got the impression that some of the family members really were I wouldn't say kissing up to it, but we could tell that he was the paternal figure and the financial figure in our family. And I felt that like a lot as a kid, that a lot of people were trying to always ask him for money or get money out of him. And I think at first as a child, I didn't want to be that kind of person. So I kind of not liked, I try to stay away from my grandfather for a weird reason. Like, I don't want to be like asking for money, so I just do who I am. But then my grandfather would always like, "Well, I want to talk to him." He would always look for me. So, you know, and when I went down there to help him with grandma, we get up early. He wanted me to help him with grandma, but with the most part that he thought that I could help him with, because he was going to dress her and get her ready. He's going to fix the food. But when he goes out to work, like he had land with the properties. I think he had a landscaping business, and he needed me to just help him with the landscaping. And so that, because a few times my grandma, she had Alzheimer's, would just leave the house and just walk off, so he couldn't be out there all day working. He had to come back. So it was good if he could leave me out there and he could stay there, because a few times, one, I don't know why I got off on this, but one, my name's Lonnie. My dad's name's Lonnie. My grandfather's name's Lonnie. My great grandfather's name is Lonnie. And when my grandma got Alzheimer's and my grandpa was out working, some dude, I guess they realized that she was had Alzheimer's, maybe because she used to sit on the deck. I don't know. But a guy realized that she had Alzheimer's, and she started mistaking him for my father. So she was calling him by my father. My father's nickname was Junie. So she was saying, Junie, come by. Hey, Junie, when she would see him. I guess she started giving him money and stuff like that. So my grandfather was like, we got to nip all that. So he was like, I'll do that. And if you could do that. So I was like, yeah, not even a problem. So I just always thought that they were just good people. And the philosophy was like, do unto others. You know what I mean? Like you don't cheat that man, you don't treat. And a lot of times without him telling me, just seeing him, he recruited a lot of the young black boys to be in help him with the landscaping for years and years and years. So like sometimes when I go out there, it would be these dudes that are like really cool. My grandpa, I don't even know him, and like they had reverence for him, you know what I mean? Even if you, especially if you in the neighborhoods and you're a young dude and you're an entrepreneur and you want to get money without like doing bad things, and you want to go to college or whatever, this is like a good job, and this guy's giving you that good job, and he'll talk to you about life, and he's a good dude. So I always thought that his philosophy on giving back to the community, you know what I mean? Because he didn't have to do that, but that was part of, and he was a millionaire and he stayed in Chester. So, you know what I mean? And when he passed away, there's a lot of, big parade and all kind of stuff. And then the religious beliefs, we're Baptist. They go to church regularly. My grandpa somehow, because he said he worked the hardest, somehow he would not have to go all the time, but my grandma would go every Sunday, and sometimes through the week. And I was saying that if I didn't have tithes, they would make sure that I had ties when we go, you know what I mean? Because on Sunday, if he did go, if grandpa felt like he was going, he would dress up in a suit, I would dress up in a suit, and grandma would dress up in her dress, and we'd get in her Cadillac, and we would just all go to church. And I would say that I didn't have the money, so then she was like, I got it for you. And my grandma would always have the church envelopes, and I always thought that was fascinating. How did you get the church envelopes for ties already, like at the house? How do you do that? And she always like, here, put this in your hip pocket, some of the thing, because I always have to make sure be sure you're aware when that thing comes around. And that was one thing too. Like they always told me, like, if you make some money, make sure you give it back to the church. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it was good times, you know what I mean? Maybe because I'm their grandson, so I'm getting them at a different point in their life. But at that time of my life, that there were two cool old people that just did their thing, you know what I mean? And after